Let's start off the World Series videos on our channel on TikTok and YouTube talking about the Dodger pitchers. Now, as we all know, the starting rotation is not great, right? Like, okay, we got these three guys on the screen. These are the three men that are going to be starting for the Dodgers. You got Jack Flaherty on top, you got Yoshinobu Yamamoto in the middle, and then you got Walker Buehler at the bottom. Why I placed the pictures that way, I don't know. That's just the way it is. So, here is the way I think they're probably going to start it. First off, I think they're going to probably want to start Jack Flaherty on the first day for game one on Friday. Now, I think Yamamoto would be number two, and I think in game three on Monday, because that's how it's going to go, because Sunday's a travel day to New York, they'll have Walker Buehler, is I think how it'll go. Now, why would it go that way? Well, you have Yamamoto on like a 5 or 6 day rest. Now you could say, okay, maybe you give him that 7th day, maybe extra day, whatever, and it could really help him, right? But I think there's a general consensus or thought process that would say, okay, maybe not, because then he's probably going to get thrown off. It'll probably throw him off, and maybe he won't be good enough, whatever it might be. Okay, I get that, right? And maybe that's true because, again, he is, even though it's been pretty much close to a year since he came out here, still getting used to the MLB. So will Yamamoto start game one? I don't actually think so. I think it'll be Jack Flaherty game one, and I think it'll be Yamamoto game two. I think it will be, I'll get to the explanations as to why and some more. I think it'll be Buehler on the road in New York, right in there in game three, bullpen game four. If it gets to a game five, I think they'll go back to Flaherty, then possibly Buehler for game six, right? I think this is why, because if you tell Yamamoto, hey, we're going to start you game three, but we also possibly need you for a game six or a game seven. If you've already got him on a 5 or 6 day rest in his first season in the MLB, he missed like 2 or 3 months, like 2-3 months. You're gonna probably mess him up, and he won't actually be ready. We could be underestimating him, but I don't really think he'd be ready to be ready for game 7 and get the Dodgers a win, and they win the World Series. Oh boy, imagine. I think the reason they'll do it the way I laid out was, okay, well, if you start Flaherty, you give him quite a bit of rest, right? I think you give him 5 days, right? And then you give Buehler at least 4 or 5 days of rest, who is used to the postseason. He's done it before. He hasn't done it in a while, this back-to-back, but he seems to be a little bit better and a little older than the rest of them. He is the veteran on the Dodger team and in the postseason, and I think that could help the Dodgers. The other thing, too, is Yamamoto. Again, you don't want to throw him off. Flaherty needs to be good for game one. Me and my dad were talking about this, but even others, Dodgers Nation, Dodger Blue, everyone was talking about it. Jack Flaherty has mechanics issues. Some of those mechanic issues tend to deal with the obvious fastball command issue and the velocity. The velocity went down to about 90, 92, 92, 90. That's a problem, because when Jack Flaherty is that low in velocity and that slow, he's not Tyler Anderson, who was throwing a changeup at 82 miles an hour, and he was getting hitters out like crazy, killing them, striking them out. That's not how Flaherty works. And the lower he goes in velocity, the less effective he is. He's most effective when he's at 94, 95, 97, 98, right around there, especially 95 miles an hour, a perfect medium. For me, he's most effective and can perform like he did in game one of the NLCS if he's pitching at that velocity of the 95 and up. Now, Yamamoto has proven us wrong. Game one of the NLDS, he was awful, not very good. They scored about 5 or 6 runs on him. Game 5, he comes over and is a stud, stone cold killer, and out pitches, out duels Dylan Cease, and then they win, and then they move to the NLCS. Game 2, he's an absolute stud. He does really well. Same thing with Jack Flaherty, right? So both of them need to be a little bit better. Buehler proved himself in the NLCS. I think he did. And especially his Dodgers defense, who was terrible and crap in the NLDS, but got better in the NLCS. So I think if they put Yamamoto game 1, let's say you need him on that Friday and that Saturday next week, you literally give them a whole week. You give them like 6-7 days to rest. I don't really think they'll do it. I think they're going to prefer Jack Flaherty starting game 1. So again, I think the layout to end it all is going to be, and I could be wrong, but I think it'll be interchangeable between Jack Flaherty game 1 and Yamamoto game 2. Yamamoto game 2 at home. In New York, Buehler game 3. Bullpen game 4 New York. And because game 5 will be in New York, Flaherty back in game 5. Buehler back home, because I don't think this is going to end in game 5. I don't think it's going to end in a game 6. I think Buehler in game 6 and possibly Yamamoto in game 7, right? Because you do give him that 6-7 days of rest. And that's exactly what he's going to need. So let me know what you guys think here on TikTok and on YouTube. What do you guys think of the pitching I've laid out? Who do you think they'll start in game 1 and game 2? Is it interchangeable like I think? And by the way, Dave Roberts can go to the bullpen game in game 3. I doubt it. Don't think so. But he could also do a bullpen game in game 5. Save the pitchers. But I think that he would rather save the relievers. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and we'll see you next time.